Stand by to receive our transmission.
You're listening to Comics Podcasting on the edge of civility.
Alright kids, this is segment 3 of Emerald City Comic Con interviews on Saturday afternoon, 2015. And we're bringing back one more representative from Geek Girl Con because we believe in them so much. Manny, why don't you introduce yourself, tell us about your show, and then go to town.
Yeah, my name is Maddie Vonhoff. I'm the manager of special events for Geek Girl Con. Geek Girl Con is an annual convention here in downtown Seattle. It celebrates and empowers the female geek. So we're all about not only just geek women in comics and video games and nerd things in pop culture, but also math, science, technology. And so we really believe in that. And we believe in giving women a platform to be able to bring their geek interests, no matter what they might be. So I do special events. So last year was my first con that I organized. So I did the costume contest, the concert, and then the closing celebration. So the concert was probably my proudest moment. We do a lot of indie rock, like women with a guitar, but I really want to expand out from that. So last year we had the Double Clicks, who do the folk life type, and then we had Thundering Asteroids, which is a nerd punk rock band from Portland, led by a female singer, so awesome, Min. And then we also had Samus, who is a nerdcore rapper from New York. So she
so it's like Aaron?
Huh?
Like same as Aaron?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's her stage name, and she even has the gun that she'll put on. She's like, oh, now I'm rapping as myself, but then now I'm Samus, and I'm putting on this.
That's great.
So that was really cool to have this this kind of nerd showcase of music.
Oh yeah.
And then closing celebration, we brought Wendy Lawrence, who's a former NASA astronaut.
Really?
And she did, our keynote. I mean, she was amazing. I spent an hour with her before, and it was what can I say to you? You've been to space.
You've left the planet.
Nothing
for God's
I
sake.
say is as cool as space. So she's
great.
having a coffee, sitting down. And I'm like, how do you?
Like a normal person that's never been in orbit.
If I went to space, I could not pay taxes. I would write on everything I did. I've been to space. I don't need to be bothered with this mortal constraints.
That's awesome.
So she was amazing. She brought pictures, she brought footage and stuff from her travels, and then we ended it with some slam poetry with some local slam poetry artists from Seattle who do nerd slam poetry. So that's what I do, and I'm excited. I have some plans this year that I want to implement.
Can you release them?
I probably can release them. So what I've kind of found is it's really great to ask people, the other people on staff, who would you love to see come to Geek Girl Con and be part of these special events. So one thing I'm interested in is some of my people that went to my college are screenplay writers, and they're playwrights and stuff like that, and they do the Sherlock play. It's like a live reading of Sherlock, but it's if the author kind of came out and he was like, why do you like Sherlock? He's this awful man. Why? There's nothing redeemable about him.
That's
fine,
wrong.
have it your way. I'll show you what it's like. Here is, what about if they met in college? And now you're going to see how awful he is, but he makes them women, too. So it's this, really interesting take on Sherlock and Watson.
That's pretty cool.
Concert, I guess, is just looking into what some other, nerd acts. I'd love to actually go out into other musical genres. I'd like to make the concert, just bigger and better. It's at the convention center, so you have to, get that feeling.
Right,
right. And last year people danced and got up, and we made a dance floor, so that was cool to see. And then we're going to probably do a pretty sweet kickoff party. I would love to get a bunch of women stand-up comedians and do a kickoff having women actually, because there's always that thing, women aren't funny. I disagree.
That's not true at all.
It's not true at all. So I want to get female stand-up comedians and really showcase them.
That's nice.
In that regard.
We love funny women, right?
Yeah.
We've been binging Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt the last couple of days.
I've heard that. My roommate was telling me about the black guy was the werewolf. He's like, I got treated better as a werewolf.
He did, yes.
and Tina Fey does such a good job using extreme stereotypes to show, no, this is sadly what some people go through.
Right.
So
We were singing the we were singing the theme song on the way up here this morning.
We're toying with putting it out there on YouTube because Unbreakable.
it's like that cop who was singing "Shake It Off" by Taylor
Yes,
Swift.
yes,
That'll be you too. But Umberto Smith.
A nurse and a tech guy, and I don't know if I want that kind of notoriety.
I do. I totally do.
Yeah, viral's the way to go. So.
Okay, so music is awesome. Slam poetry is awesome. What are the big things you're gonna have? What kind of guests you're gonna have this year?
We're not really sure on the guests. So an interesting thing about Geek Girl Con is that we are very thoughtful about our size. So, so we're here at Emerald City Comic Con.
Yep.
This is my 4th year here.
Nice.
In these 4 years, it's crazy how much bigger it's gotten. The celebrities that they get to have. I go to San Diego every year.
You still can get in?
Right? No, we did the hotel queue in San Diego. Don't. It's worse than the tickets. And Emerald City's kind of going on that.
It's edging up.
Yeah, we're getting bigger. The tickets are selling out sooner and sooner.
Yeah.
And PAX, I do PAX, and you get in this queue and you wait and all that. And so Geek Girl Con, we have the space and we have the, we could expand, but it's going to be our 5th year. And we're very thoughtful about that, and we want to, why do people come to Geek Girl Con? So Geek Girl Con and New York Comic Con are on the same weekend. Why would people come to Geek Girl Con? And part of it's, we could get bigger, but we kind of keep it to around like 3,000 or 4,000 people.
Okay, that's
we do
quite
sell out. We
manageable,
always sell out. But we want a con where people can sit down. Where people aren't being ushered by security. I'm in San Diego, and it's like, don't stand here, don't stand here. You're like, where can I stand?
Nowhere.
And I can't get into your panels; they're too crowded. So we want to have a place where you can get into the panels. You can a con where you can go to all the events. You don't have to sit and there's 20 panels at the same time, and you say, do I love Game of Thrones or Walking Dead more?
That's a tough.
Yeah, that's a tough question. So we want to have this panel where people can sit down, people can take a break and not feel like they're missing out on some big thing, that they can feel like their space is being respected, that they can meet the people they've come there to meet, all of that.
Like some of the seriously old school cons, like the mid-'80s in smaller places like New Haven or Hartford.
Or San Diego
like
Comic Con. Yeah. Right now it's been this, like pop culture, phenomenon. But yeah, so I think with in terms of celebrity guests, I think 2 years ago we had like Kelly Sue DeConnick.
Right.
We had Anita Sarkeesian this year.
Okay.
That was would love, it was great to have her, but yeah, with the Gamergate thing, it was. So we're trying to keep our guests. Not always the biggest names, but the people in our community who are doing great things. Like
the effectual ones.
Yeah, like we hear stories all the time about there's these scientists that you dub that are doing a real life like Pacific Rim drift, where you can tell someone to move their hand from across campus. Just things like that where we hear about. These people doing that. And that's what we want to showcase.
That's phenomenal stuff. That is the kind of thing. That's what so many people are missing in nerd culture these days, I feel.
Because you meet people here on the street, and they're like, oh, I'm running this business, I'm doing this, but all you hear... And I love the celebrities and the actors and the actresses who are doing that. But even like Kelly Sue DeConnick, she's such a great role model for women and breaking into the industry. But now she's big. She almost doesn't need us anymore.
It's too true.
So we have this platform with Geek Girl Con, and who can we showcase that doesn't have? I even have I've had bigger musical acts.
Okay.
Be interested, or an all-men group and stuff like that, and it's that's great, and obviously they're doing some great things.
Right.
But we should look at this as a platform for women who don't normally get it.
Absolutely nothing wrong with that. It's important.
Yeah.
I know I have 4 sisters, and 3 of them are incredibly geeky. And one just a little bit.
What does the other one do?
She just kind of hangs out. She just kind of hangs out.
Lock her door when you guys are talking about when the season finale of Walking Dead this Sunday.
She's I'm just going to go organize. I don't know.
Right.
But, and I totally lost my train of thought why I mentioned that.
Oh, just talking about I guess it's interesting how we're trying.
And I know where I was going. They would have benefited even more if they. I mean, two of them are significantly older than me,
Right.
and one of them is only a little younger than me. But if an event like that was on the East Coast when they were in their more formative years, God knows what they would have done.
Sure, yeah.
You know, they're just living relatively average workaday lives. But if they had an opportunity like that, they might have been astronauts themselves.
Right. Yeah. And I think it's interesting because my dad's a nerd. And that's why I'm here. It's my dad and comics and video games. So he was always putting a comic in front of me or a video game in front of me.
Go.
So I never had that. But then as I got older and went to, it was cons when I first got like my first like people harassing me and being in cosplay, and I was Miranda Mass Effect.
Oh, nice.
So it was nice. Some men had great compliments, like you did a great job on your costume. Some men had not, Oh my. We're at Emerald City Comic Con and we're getting interrupted by awesome cosplay.
I tried to make it discreet.
Yeah, right. No, it's great. I'm distracted. I just lost my train of thought. But, you hear all these stories, and it's a great thing about being part of GeekGirlCon is you hear these stories about women who, had these things happen to them. They go to their local comic book shop, and the people there say, I don't know if you want to read that. It's a little violent. Maybe you should read this, like, romantic, comedy, it's with that. And I have a great comic book store in Ballard that I go to, and my dad has always been really thoughtful about giving me just comics he thinks I would like. But, it's important that GeekGirlCon is here for people who grew up in families that aren't nerdy, who grew up like Arcane Comics. Yeah.
And it's important.
They have a dog there. Her name's Sadie. That's why I go.
And it's important to get stories like that out because for years I would look at like sporting events and somebody would win and there'd be a riot, and I'm like, ain't nothing bad ever happens at a con. And it turned out I was fucking wrong.
Right, yeah. And I think that's interesting. When I was Miranda for Mass Effect one year, my friend was with me, and one guy walked right up and pointed to my butt and said some not nice things. And I guess maybe he thought they were nice things. And my friend, who's a guy, he was almost more shocked the whole day. Was like, he just kept bringing up, I can't believe that normal-looking guy, because he was kind of thinking harassment was like a homeless person calling or someone who's not in their right mind, and then when he saw a normal-looking guy approach me in front of him, in the public, he spent all day being like, I can't believe he did that. I had no idea.
Yeah,
that's what you're talking about.
Part of it's because you don't see it in a normal life. Male nurse for 20-something years. I'm working with males, and I see it. Because curtains aren't soundproof, and I hear it. And it's out there, and it's a legitimate concern, and it needs to be brought up and dealt with. And I mean, it's something that we can weed out generationally, but it's going to take a lot of work, and there's still a lot more work to do.
Yeah, and I think it goes both ways, having these places where women can pursue their geek interests in math, science, technology, and then also having places like, I see so many men at GeekGirlCon, and that's awesome. Like, people ask me, like, can I go if I'm a guy? Yeah. Go. Like, learn something. Like, hang out with people like, we want you there.
He almost sent me last year, because I live here and he lives in Connecticut. I was going to be his representative, but I was like, I had that question too. I'm like, can I go as a guy? And apparently, yeah. I felt welcomed. I felt welcomed, and then I'm an aviation photographer, and it didn't. It coincided with a different event, so.
Because really, it shouldn't be. I would like to see all cons go more in our direction. I mean, San Diego's not going back to 4,000 people, but in the direction of having more. Because we try to be very thoughtful of having panels on not just female interest in geekdom, but all sorts of identities. We'll have panels about cosplaying if you're fat. Like things that are just underrepresented in geek culture. And I'd like to see all conventions go that way. Because if you go to GeekGirlCon, it's not like it's this. It is women-centric, but it's not like it feels like that. It's like you're going to a con, but you're still taking cosplay pictures, and you're still going to panels, and you're still doing all this stuff. But people are just trying to be more respectful and are there to learn about, so it's the same. It's just hopefully a little less, harassment and a lot more. Great costume. You did such a good job on that. So
cool.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I think that's it. Yeah, definitely come on out to Geek Girl Con. You actually can find a place to sit down. It's incredible.
It's so crucial. It's so crucial. Let's see if we can get some funny out of here. What's your first comic experience? You probably covered that already, though. That was pretty clear. You pop.
Sure, my first comic. I still have my first comic book.
Nice.
I guess it's manga. But my first comic book was Dragon Ball Z, issue 1. I didn't know you have to read it backwards, so I read it front to back. Loved it. My dad turned it around. Loved it more after I read it correctly. And that was the first comic. I read a lot of Marvel when I was little in DC. But yeah, my first comic.
Excellent. So, what is your dream project? There must be something nerdy that you would love to do from a creation perspective.
What would I love to do that's nerdy? I feel like I'm doing that right now with Geek Girl Con. You know, I've done a lot of event programming for work and for other things, and that I actually have. So when I saw this opportunity, it was basically saying, oh, you can do what you are making your friends do, but at a con, at a convention center.
There you go.
So I think that's been pretty cool opportunity.
Right. You know Fin Fang Foom?
I don't.
Skip that question. You know Batmite? Mm-mm. Skip that question.
These are weird. You warned me. I mean, I know who Tinkerbell is.
Okay, Tinkerbell versus the Wasp.
Oh, the Wasp. Yeah.
Gotcha.
I actually have this Rotten Tomatoes sign from this Rotten Tomatoes panel I was at, so I can say fresh or...
Nice.
So, Tinkerbell, rotten or fresh.
Let's see. You know Hank Pym?
Yeah.
Is there a bigger comics jackass than Hank Pym? Defend your response.
Is there a bigger jackass? Gosh, I mean... Tony Stark's not a nice guy by any means, you know. I don't know if there's, you know, because I think a lot of superheroes, they come into it and they learn this responsibility and they kind of like don the cowl and try to become this better person. And I don't know if Tony Stark did that. Like, he does, like, but...
Kind of here and there.
Yeah, kind of here and there, but I think he's this interesting person because just because you're a hero doesn't mean you're nice to everyone or you're thoughtful to anyone.
Too true. All right, favorite Smurf. Justify your answer.
I never watched the Smurfs.
Skip
so
all the questions.
How many of these are Smurf questions?
Just the one.
Oh.
Darkhawk? No, probably not. You don't already know. Okay, let's call it a day.
Okay, awesome.
These ones are a little too obscure. My podcasting partner, the Reverend Mad Duck, he's a wackadoo. He's got such an encyclopedic nature to his comic knowledge, but he likes the wackier aspects, like Fin Fang Foom.
Yeah. What is that?
Fin Fang Foom is a giant Chinese-type dragon that Marvel was publishing in the early 60s in their monster books because they had to have something to print.
Right.
This is when Fantastic Four was still taking
is there
off.
A song with Fin Fang Foom?
Maybe.
I feel like I've heard
Maybe
a song.
by somebody like Adam Warrock or Warrocket Ajax or one of those guys. It's really hard to say. But he actually fought Thor in the guise of Jormungand, the Midgard serpent. So, but he's been here and there, and he's just a really whenever somebody wants to pull out a really obscure monster, they're like, Fin Fang Foom, bring him out. So, I was going to ask if, him versus Godzilla.
Oh. I mean, if he's a Chinese dragon versus a Japanese lizard. I guess he's not a dragon. I don't know, yeah, new Godzilla or old Godzilla? Because new Godzilla, like...
Old?
He lifts. Like, yeah. Yeah, I guess the old Godzilla. That's what I know.
Right on. All right, these are too weird. Only one guy... We've done this a couple of times today, and only one person was like, bang, 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 bang,
right.
bang. I know everything you're talking about, and I feel this way, this way, this way.
Right.
Wow, okay.
Look, I'm impressed.
Thank you, Bill, for all those questions no one can answer.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
The dates of the show, again, are?
It's October. I believe it's... I'm going to have to look at a calendar. 10th and 11th. I was thinking, yeah.
And you want to pull out the social media contacts again?
For Geek Girl
which
Con?
are on the...
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, if you want to know more about Geek Girl Con, we're at geekgirlcon.com. We also have a ton of open positions. So if you are a designer, programmer, writer, if you like to do vendors or marketing or like that, like check out, we have tons of positions. And then find us on Twitter, Geek Girl Con.
Excellent.
Cool. Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much. Have a great show. Right. It's going to be a rough night. And that's why we drink it. How you doing, Rip?
I am well, or not unwell, depending on your definition of well.
Well, that's a matter of perspective, I suppose.
My perspective is skewed, I've been told.
You've always had a pretty poor perspective.
That's probably true.
So, crazy day.
Was it?
Yeah.
Why?
The poor guy who in Maryland who used to dress up as Batman and visit kids in hospitals got struck by a car while he was changing a tire, and he's dead.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Yeah, Lenny Robinson.
Not that old either, right?
Nope, only somewhere in his 30s, I think.
Was he
late
changing
30s.
his own tire or somebody else's?
Yeah, it was his. Guy who tries so hard to help people
And
couldn't get any help, and then gets smacked by some jackass wasn't paying attention.
dude, changing a tire on the outside of the car, like toward the roadside, is not a pleasant experience.
No, I've done that. It's frightening as fuck.
It is. Well, yeah, you and I were there trying to check out a tire on the way to Walsh's wedding in the middle of a fucking insane highway. People zipping by at 4 bajillion miles an hour. Yeah, that's fucking
It was terrible.
terrible.
I was kind of choked up when I read that. Look at this guy. He's done so much to make these kids feel good, like a hero oughta. And then just whammo, some jackass who just couldn't be buggered to pay attention, give the guy a little fucking space, clips him, and that's the end of it.
Oh, hey, speaking of dead, sadly, and this is not an auspicious start,
I believe
we
it.
have another wrestler toast to say goodbye to. Roddy Piper.
Oh yes, it's been a bit. That wasn't in the last week.
But of all things, the Rowdy one definitely warrants a toast.
Yes, he does. Even I can get behind Roddy. I remember Piper's Pit was the first show within a show that I remember. I was like, what's this loudmouth motherfucker talking about?
He was so good at making people want to stab him in the face. Any nerd news? Anything going on?
We had a show, but we're going to talk about that later because we got so many books to get to.
I saw Ant-Man finally.
Yes, you enjoyed it as well.
Yes, he's tiny.
That wasn't particularly clever.
I'm not. I didn't write it.
It's just comb your hair or some shit. Look at that. So it was fun.
It's a good movie. I did enjoy it. It's interesting because I've seen split reviews all over the place.
Yeah.
And half the people are talking about it being one of the best Marvel movies ever, and the other half are like, it was mediocre and Edgar Wright could have done better. Well, fuck you, Bob. I mean, Siskel and Ebert could have written a better review, but, you don't see people pointing that shit out. 2 thumbs down to Ed's review of Ant-Man. I found it pedantic and formulaic. Come on.
I enjoyed the shit out of it.
I thought it was fun. I did enjoy it.
There's nothing wrong with a comic flick that doesn't involve saving the fucking universe. You can have smaller scale, more personal stories. That's not a bad thing.
One thing Marvel is doing really badly, though,
Yeah.
is outside of Loki, their villains are uniformly horrible. And they're constantly removing them. They're not even giving them a chance to revisit and get better.
Well, that is true, too. And they're going to run out of decent villains if they keep that shit up.
Well, no, because they haven't really had all that many decent villains yet.
Well, I mean, they've tried. They had the Red Skull. They had Loki. They're bringing Thanos in up real fast. Well, we can't blame Marvel for buggering up Galactus, but
No, they're entirely free on that one. But there's a lot of villains out there still they haven't touched.
And there's a lot we hope they don't. I mean, eventually Cap going up against Senor Suerte is not going to make a blockbuster.
I'd be all about that. Well, my theory is what they should have done. It's a tiny little thing and, totally unnecessary, but I think this would have been awesome.
Yeah?
Is if they took all the individual films and started each one with the hero defeating a minor B-level villain.
Ah.
And then you have
like
all
the teaser in the Bond flicks.
Yes, but then you take all those defeated villains and you have Zemo gather them up.
Oh.
And then you've
the
got
Masters of Evil.
Exactly.
Ah, that's a good idea. Yeah. I'd love to see a Masters of Evil flick.
Dude, it would work but you couldn't just bring all those guys at once.
Yeah, because nobody would care about them.
Each one in a flick, and then at the end, instead of seeing you see Zemo gather them up in the post-credits clip.
Yeah, that would be good. That would work. I'd be happy to see that.
Yeah, it's my own idea, but I feel like it would work. But I mean, shit, they ain't listening to my dumbass.
They totally wasted Strucker. I guess one day they'll get back to him, maybe, but whatever. But yeah, Zemo though. Oh yeah,
but
bring him around.
Like,
Whiplash. They've tried Whiplash. They didn't see you pretend you had a whip.
No, nor will they ever. All right, so we have an enormous comic pile, so let's just dive right into that.
It's way delayed because we're all a bunch of doofuses.
It's really my fault. I have a life, so yeah.
Oh.
I so don't. I
You're
just
gonna
have
pull
a
that
job
little chestnut out.
I so don't, though. I just have a job that requires me to do shit at night.
Jackass.
That's so true.
Wonkity wonk.
Wonkity wonk. All right, before you forget and get caught up, introductions and movie. Follow the rules.
Oh, yes, that's right. We are the now rechristened TMG cast. Little marketing maneuver, doesn't mean anything. We're just trying not to have people think we're assholes before they listen to us.
So we're the Tmug cast?
Tmug cast. Tumji cast. Doesn't make any sense. No, fuck that. TMG cast. The Mean Geek.
Get down with TMG. Yeah, you know me.
You down with TMG? Who down with TMG? Terrible. I am your main host, as always, Adrian TechJedi Hunter. You can look me up. You won't find anything interesting, but you can try.
Well, that's not true. Don't you write like
I do not.
torture porn or something?
I do not. There is an Englishman, significantly older than myself.
3-4 weeks.
Significantly older than myself. Who, if you go looking for Google, you will find that he's all about BDSM, and I am not that swinging. You won't find me doing any of that shite. Anyhow, I know you did that to keep off being introduced as long as you could because you hate every second of it.
It's so true.
But I am talking to and with and about sometimes Bill the Reverend Mad Duck McGinnis.
Quackity, quackity, my slappities.
How you doing, baby?
I'm fine.
Good.
Thank you for asking. Don't call me baby. Honey.
Everybody, baby.
Everybody, baby. Itty bitty baby. You my itty bitty baby boy. Yeah, dude, just creepy. Just so,
all right,
so
I
creepy.
left it alone. You added all that weird shit and the voice
That
and
is
everything.
what I do.
You made it weird.
Now
you made it weird between us, man.
You're just gonna want to walk up to a stranger like, "You my itty bitty baby boy," and then you're gonna get punched in the neck, and you're like, "Okay, that's probably how that should have gone."
I will never do something like that.
But you're gonna want to.
I'm tempted.
Yeah,
but I won't.
And that's what I do.
Well, the great thing about it is you just don't find people walking on the street anymore. Not
you
in
do
this
when
region.
you don't want to.
The places where you can, I ain't going.
Fair enough. All right, and today's film is Guillotines, in which a bunch of people kick each other in the face and they have blades. That's what I've been able to take away from it.
Yeah, I think so.
All right.
What did we decide about the April books?
Well, we found out that we missed a couple of April books, so they're just going to get scattered in with the Mays, and when we get to the They're parallels. We'll go over them together because we're so organized.
So the first thing on the list.
Oh, it's what week is it?
It's Marvel Week.
Marvel, let that segue, if you will.
Boom, 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 boom.
Shock and awe, people.
It's a huge motherfucking week, so just hang goddamn tight with me.
We are a non-apologetic Marvel cast.
Nope. We don't apologize because what's the point, really? You don't care.
Hell, they don't listen.
Exactly, that too. So, having established that, let's talk about some Howard the Duck because he's the first one in line. So we got numbers 2 and 3, right?
Uh-huh. Oh, I thought Hawkeye was first. I'm totally confused by your list.
April Marvels, number 2.
Oh, I see.
Yep, bing bang. So, in number 2, Howard and Rocket have been collected. And you know when that word comes out, it's a matter of the collector. So remarkably played recently by Benicio del Toro.
That was so strange. Anyway, keep going.
Oh, I don't know that characterization was really the collector I had in my mind.
You know what? Having the collector on film is a single weird. Like you take all the Marvel movies, and you can include Howard the Duck, fucking Dolph Lundgren as the Punisher, Reb Brown as Captain America, Benicio del Toro as a collector. The fact that the collector made film, like think all the guys who aren't. Craven hasn't made a goddamn Spider-Man movie.
In 5 of them, which is starting to get a little irritating because, movie makers love that most dangerous animal routine.
Yeah, dude, like he's like, to me that's like Spider-Man film 101. Like Craven should be fucking up there.
Yeah.
Even like a Craven chameleon team, like.
Oh. But nah, they gotta go for the flashy powers and shit. They gotta go for flying
the world's
guys.
ugliest lizard.
That was fucking terrible, dude. At any rate, they've been collected. They fight some lizard guys and some collector minions. The collector had minions?
Everyone has minions.
Everybody's got minions.
It's because of that damn Despicable Me movie.
Nah, it was probably before that, eh?
Dude, keep going. Something about this book drove me insane.
The rest of the Guardians eventually shows up, and it turns out, for the most bizarre, weird plot twist you've ever known, there's a map shaved in a Rocket's chest that leads through a convention? And eventually they come across Aunt May robbing places. What?
All right, so before you dive into 3, couple of key points. First off, the fact that they carved a map into Rocket when they totally didn't need to because part of his plan was to break into the computer was beyond awesome. Hysterical. I also really enjoyed the collector convention. I thought that was really funny. And the Howard Rocket dynamic was a lot of fun. Howard's weird obsession with referring to the tether laser thing that the guards were using as their sexy gun.
Ugh, that was creepy.
I didn't even get it. I was just like, what?
Yeah, that's bizarre. That's beyond bizarre. It's like, okay, Zdarsky, I know you like hanging out with Fraction, but you need to stop that right now.
Yeah, like, why on earth is your weird fucking bondage saber?
Why does that even have to be mentioned in that way?
Howard the Duck bondage sword? No! No! The fact that I even have to say that.
Trademark Mattel.
Yeah. Blah. Your first Howard the Duck action collectible. Your sexy bondage gun. Hell to the no.
Try it again. I don't like it.
And then you had that. So you can see they're trying to build Howard as like the more metaphysical Howard I was talking about.
Yeah.
With that obsession with freeing the slaves and not being okay with that.
Yeah.
Howard is inherently a moral, decent duck. From one to another,
a moral, decent duck. There's your title.
So I like the book. It's still not really Howard the Duck to me, but it's pretty goddamn funny.
Now, it's going to be difficult for anybody but, Gerber himself to really give it the bite.
No one has ever
on
really
society
been able to do
itself.
That. Even Gerber has had a hard time revisiting it successfully.
Yeah, Destroyer Duck just didn't cut it.
Even that revamped one that Phil Winsley did the art for, where they turned him into a mouse to make fun of the lack of pants.
Oh,
the devil that you absolutely hated.
Yeah. Which is covered quite nicely over at SF Debris in their Rise and Fall of the Comics Empire series.
Really?
Yeah, it's really nice. There's it was episode 11, I believe.
They talk about
Gerber and the Duck and crossing over with Savage Dragon and being screwed over by Marvel and getting back at Disney and all kinds of crazy shit.
Well, he also tried to screw Marvel over, so I mean that was 50 there with the Duck thing.
So they're like, really? You're going to pull this on us? Okay. We'll give him a new series in 30 years and show you how we think of you.
So number 3, going back to your description.
Number 3 picks up right where we left off with Aunt May committing armed fucking robbery. She knocks Howard's ass out, which amused me all to fuck.
Well, as well it would.
It should. Anybody who can't
he's a
laugh,
master of quack foo.
anybody who can't laugh at Aunt May beating the piss out of a waddling bouillabaisse of genetics as Howard. If you can't laugh at that, I don't know what the fuck you want out of life. He wakes up at the police station with She-Hulk and the whole necklace that they've been after for their MacGuffin stolen. And back at his office, the homeless client is just, he's nuts, and he decapitates poor Donna. Donna is
a pile of garbage that Howard uses as a receptionist.
And he gets mad about that.
He's hurt. Like, that's it. You murdered his receptionist. Like, you did that shit to Mike Spade, he'd be very angry.
But eventually he figures out Howard figures out the way to find out why Aunt May was doing this is to disguise himself as a regular duck and go to where ducks are being fed by old people. And for fuck's sake, it works!
That was pretty goddamn funny. Like, I was like, what the hell am I looking at right now? And the fact that the bread was fattening, that was just like icing on the cake.
It turns out, of course, and no one was going to ever think any other way about this, was she was mind-controlled. So, he then poses as a senior to be mind-controlled. And they find
the ringmaster.
Bickety Bam.
So awesome.
Sending out series seniors so he doesn't get caught and living off the take.
Hey, you know what? They shut a circus down. He's never been highly successful. Hypnotizing old people into committing small crimes. Genius.
It doesn't seem that bad an idea, really.
I honestly love the ringmaster. So happy with this choice. Like, literally, it's like this issue is designed for me.
I left, too. But you appreciate Howard on a deeper level than just about anybody. And that frightens me sometimes, so...
Oh, no, it was so goddamn good. Like, it's insane. And then, of course, the necklace is stolen again without being paid for by the client. Talos the Untamed.
Oh my fucking God. They're just pulling out, and I'm being amused by this, but they're just pulling out the most bizarre characters lately in these smaller books. And I'm both appreciating it and befuddled by it.
Well, you know, it's interesting to me, the characters that are free because they're not being used.
Oh, yeah.
Like Kraven. And some of them, like Talos the Untamed, like this is not a guy that you can throw into a whole lot of books. All right, fine, he's free. Howard the Duck makes literally no sense, but fine, no one's doing anything with him. Ringmaster and Howard the Duck actually have a history. Howard was in the circus of crime at one point.
He was?
Yep.
Well, shit. That's new to me.
I want to say 25.
Good on you for bringing that to my attention.
And then, but yeah, like some of these guys just should have bigger. Like Kraven should not be in Squirrel Girl.
Although that did amuse me too. So whatever.
Funny, yes, but you know, some of the, like it's interesting that the characters that fall out of fashion, I guess, is where I'm going. Like it's interesting to see, you know, how the mighty have fallen over the years. Kind of like Ben Grimm was once like top 5 Marvel superheroes, now, he's lucky if the
Almost
Fantastic
nobody
Four
gives a
have
shit
book.
about him.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy pants. I don't understand.
You can be a backup Avenger, Ben. I had 2 books, Fantastic Four and Marvel team up.
Yeah.
Really?
And then his own book.
Yep.
It's ridiculous sometimes.
It's a hard world.
It is. But Hawkeye makes it easier.
Actually, Hawkeye makes nothing. Hawkeye makes everything harder than it has to be.
Well, he, as a character, yes, he does.
Yeah,
in fact.
100%.
His book makes me happy, however. So, I don't know what you're thinking.
Anyway.
Oh, wait, is this... Oh, that's the wrong Hawkeye. I'm reading the synopsis for the wrong Hawkeye.
Oh. So Hawkeye
no, I'm
3.
Not. No, I'm not. Yeah. The kids from the last issue are now in S.H.I.E.L.D. custody, and Kate hates that. And she
Kate
should.
hates everything.
Kate is a hateful little gumball.
So true.
So much so that she takes the daring stance of arguing with Maria fucking Hill, which is so not a bright idea.
Well, no, I feel like you can call Maria Hill. There's this line, and it's about here in the neck, mid-neck. And there's this line, if you cross her with Nick Fury, you ended up in a cell somewhere with, Mako the killer shark and some other insane fucking. Yeah, I know it's a DC guy, whatever. Some insane super freak that's gonna ass rape you for 45 minutes and then eat your face. You go over a line with Nick Fury, and shit goes really bad for you really quickly. I feel like with Maria Hill, she waits for you to calm down and then kind of verbally bitch slaps you. So you can go, you can take that step. I'm sorry, Kate might be hateful, but if this were Nick Fury, she'd be like, "Oh, can we save the kids, please?" You just don't talk back to Nick Fury. Maria Hill doesn't have that. Everybody gives her a hard time.
Yeah, well, that's true. But she's in a position where if she felt like it, you would be over.
Oh, yeah. And she's totally capable of doing that. She's just way calmer. She's like, I could end you. And then she thinks about it for a second, then she calms down and she's like, okay, now I'm just going to yell at you.
But there's a lot of paperwork.
Yeah.
So...
it really just comes down to do I want to hit the red button? What's the red button? The red button is when everyone jumps on you and kicks you in the face till you die. That's the red button.
Now, the thing is, as irritated as Maria must be for this barely out of her teens kid to be screaming in her face, she does agree with Kate. So she surreptitiously decides to let Clint and Kate break them out.
Which is a terrible idea.
Yeah, because who knows what those kids are going to do to whom?
Right. I'm not a fan of kids being locked up. Let's just be very clear on this. But these psychic can destroy you with their mind. I saw the Twilight Zone movie. Those fucking kids are scary. When you can turn people into a giant jack-in-the-box, if you just fucking think it, you should probably be not out roaming the earth.
No. I'm thinking controlled... thinking, giving candy every day, kept quiet and in a corner.
Just fucking puppies and cartoons all day long, whatever the hell it takes. Another pixie stick, my master? I mean, Timmy?
No need for a Children of the Corn motif going on here. Children of the Corn, Children of the Corn.
And dude, the whole time, you're waiting. We like Kate. We don't like Hawkeye.
That's just me. Clint never did anything to them.
Yeah, but he's not a likable dude. And even when he is, there's somebody better, as this gets pointed out again and again.
Well, sure. Well, eventually, of course, they do break them out using a smoke arrow, which Kate just can't handle the idea that there's trick arrows out there. Which is kind of really, kid? Do you not know the motif of the Archer in comics?
Yeah, but Hawkeye, when you think trick arrow, you think green arrow. Hawkeye has never been as big.
All right, he's
had them.
He's had mission-specific arrows, let's say.
But let's face it, when you're thinking boxing glove arrow,
Now, I remember his entry in Official Handbook had an entire page featuring the different types of trick arrows he's used.
Oh, I absolutely agree they exist, but to me, like, if you're going to think trick arrows, you're going to associate it with green arrow.
Yeah, mostly. Of course, I mean, who reading this book knows that? I bet a lot of kids do. Bet a lot of kids these days.
I bet you bet a lot of kids.
What?
I don't know. I just say some shit to see your reaction.
Whatever the fuck. They free the kids, and with nowhere else to go, they take them back to Clint's building. Because that's brilliant.
Dude, and how unfair. Like, the kids cut, like, the psychic easily to murder you children. Like, let's take him to the house of the guy who likes them less. Like, why aren't they going to Kate's goddamn friggin' cat-filled shack of an abode? No, it's like, hey, Clint.
Because then we wouldn't be able to have Hawkeye be put upon and be the poster boy for abuse that he's become.
I did like the fact that Lucky the dog liked them and they liked Lucky. That was cute.
Yes, that was okay. Now, the bottom two panels on every single page are flashbacks to the circus and the swordsman about to teach them knife throwing throughout the... I love that flashback. I like how it's different art.
No, it's so cool. It's very reminiscent of Tim Sale, which is always a good thing.
Oh, yeah.
And speaking of which, if Tim Sale would like to do a swordsman book, I would be all about that shit, because I think that would look amazing. Anyway, it was so... You know, like, they're building up Hawkeye's positive and negative parental relationship with the swordsman. Like, he's heroic, but he's not necessarily a good dude at the same time.
Yeah, maybe.
And so the whole switchblade thing is an interesting little, there's going to be something that happens with the switchblade that wasn't entirely positive.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. Of course there is.
But great book. Considering how good the last Hawkeye was, to be this positive with this book within 3 issues is shocking.
Yeah. Now, do you want to do the weird back and forth, or do you want to do all the Leias at once? Because we got one Leia left over from April.
Yeah, just fire it off.
All right, we'll get to the others when we get to the other Star Wars, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, we're...
Or another episode. We'll do it in another episode.
Yeah.
All right, so...
Complicated. Boom. That's it, kids. We put work in. We actually make... Well, he makes notes, and I just drink.
Yeah, well, it's all sorted one way or another. So, boom. Now, in Princess Leia 3, they're on their way to Sullust, and the dumb Alderaanian sister is talking to her traitorous sister in the Imperial Navy.
She's naive. She's not dumb.
She's dumb.
Come on. If your sister were a traitor to her entire planet, you'd be confused.
Are you telling me? Now, she wasn't wearing the hat, but she was definitely wearing the uniform in that video communication. So you're going to tell me this kid doesn't know what an Imperial uniform looks like?
But this kid's a musician and a rock star. Like, she's lucky she can identify
But the oppressive forces of the Imperium are all over the goddamn place.
I admit this is not a rocket scientist child, but, you know, they're playing her as naive and not dumb as a stump.
She's dumb. Now, this issue is mildly confusing at points because the Enclave on this planet distrusts even their princess for some bizarre reason. They've been separated from Alderaan for so long that they're not really...
I'm all about, like, you know...
back into their own culture and heritage, I suppose.
This is the most logical thing that's happened in this book. Like, oh, I'm sorry, you're a princess of a blown-up planet we haven't found for years while we're fucking hiding out in space? Like, fuck you. I'm not gonna worship your ass just because you wear fucking donuts for hair earrings. Yes, I said donuts for hair earrings.
They're coffee rolls.
That's true. Fair enough.
Jesus, get it right.
I stand corrected. But yeah, like, to me, like, I'm sorry, if somebody blew up... Shit, what do I care about? The Muppets.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's this giant anti-Muppet crusade going on. All of a sudden, Kermit shows up. I'm like, I'm not just suddenly following you. People have been murdering Muppets for years. Like, to me, this was insanely logical.
There's a little bit of bullshit intrigue throughout, and it's kind of back and forthy, meh. But the Imperials that the traitor sister... I wrote
Pause for station identification.
Yeah, I wrote that sentence all fucked up. The Imperials that are with the traitor sister happen upon their location. I will cut all that out till that sentence is left alone.
There you go. Right. Salvage at. Here's my thing with this book, though. Like, first off, R2-D2 super robot is back in full force in this issue.
He's always been the little rescuer, and
Yeah.
it's really only been a matter of the scale of the gimmick.
This was pretty scaled to the point of, come on!
It was pretty high up there.
And then the giant rock alien things.
That eat armor.
Again, this book feels more like the Marvel than some of the other ones, like the old school Marvel,
Yeah.
which is not a bad thing. However, like, I have a hard time believing that Mark Waid wrote this book. Like, there's a lack of subtlety about a lot of what's happening here.
I mean, he's not always been the world's, he and Busick are amazing, but I think on the subtlety front, Busick's got him by a country mile.
Fair enough. But at the same time, like, her pilot / assistant / conscience in this thing is defending her to everybody else and still cursing her, and you're like, come on! There's a lot of come on in Princess Leia compared to the other Star Wars
it's
books.
absolutely true. I was like, look, are you going to trust the remnant leader of your race, or are you going to be a jackass?
I'm all about, like I said, I'm totally cool with the jackass thing. And I like the fact that we're like the abject apologies afterward. Like, we didn't trust you. We're fucking really wrong. Please get us the fuck out of here. They're giant rock aliens.
Well, I mean, seeing sense, there's a lot to be said for.
Yeah. But yeah, like I'm your leader, and I suddenly show up. People who follow those people get slaughtered in comics all the time.
Oh, God, yeah, that is absolutely true. I won't debate you on that.
That's the equivalent of sitting there and friggin' Poseidon going, yeah, we're just going to wait for the ship to rewrite itself.
No.
You drowned badly. I hate to tell you this, but...
Fucking Poseidon adventure. Oh, my God. Who would pull that reference out but you? I might. Depending on whether we could get a Shelley Winters Jabba the Hutt comparison.
Oh.
Ouch.
Oh.
Ouch.
Uncalled for.
Damn, right?
Just, particularly with Ernest Borgnine right there next to her.
That was awesome. Did you enjoy your Master of Kung Fu?
I got this entirely for the cover because I wanted to see a Francavilla drawn Shang-Chi. Did you get more of this, or did we just go?
I
for
did
one?
not.
Okay.
I was thinking that it was probably best to leave it alone at that point.
This was way better than it deserved to be.
It was, actually. That is the truth. So we get some of the history of Kunlun and the battles that led to Iron Fist taking control of that city after battle with the 10 Rings people and the 13 Chambers and the 36 Uteruses or whatever the fuck else you want.
The 10 Rings and Battle World lead you to think what?
Mandarin.
Yes, of course. Which is awesome. Like, Shang-Chi and the Mandarin, like, I was sitting there reading this, like, I didn't get the other three of these motherfuckers. But it's stupid-ass Battle World.
Yeah.
I don't care.
It doesn't really count.
And I don't want an alcoholic friggin' wastrel Shang-Chi.
Is it wastrel? Or is it wastrel? I've never heard anybody actually say it out loud.
Well, I'm special.
I'm asking.
I believe that I'm actually correct in this pronunciation.
I'm not
I'm
trying
not
to debate
positive,
you. I've
but-
literally never heard anyone say it out loud.
I have an old soul. And apparently, by old, I mean somewhere in the 15th fucking century. No, this... If you don't know anything about Shang-Chi, this was a fun, surprisingly decent read.
Yeah, and they worked out a way to get around the whole Fu Manchu problem.
By changing it up to what appears to be the Mandarin, because, of course, it's Battle World.
Yeah.
Which leads me to, if they're going to change things based on this Battle World, and I still really don't understand this,
Yeah.
but think about this for a second. Pause for station identification.
Right?
If they're recreating histories and changing characters,
Right.
if you were to bring Shang-Chi back into the Marvel Universe in this format,
Sure. They could get away from the whole Fu Manchu problem.
But even cooler,
scot-free.
even cooler, if his father is the Mandarin,
then that sets up a whole bunch of weird Iron Man crossovers.
that not even necessarily that, although awesome. You've just recreated the ability of Shang-Chi to hate his father in the entire 125-issue arc. Well, actually, it started in 15, so 110-issue arc. Yes, I'm a fucking huge comic dork. Awesome! Shang-Chi versus the Mandarin.
It works. You can keep the same dynamic and not be
free
sued.
up. Exactly.
Excellent. Yes. Yes, that's a good way to go. They should listen to us. They should never listen to us.
In this scenario, they should. In general, no. But if they go that route, that would be amazing.
I would read the hell out of that book.
Dude, Shang-Chi versus the Mandarin, like fucking sign my ass up now. So, yeah, shockingly good surprise for a Battle World.
Yeah, I'm digging it. That one, at least. You know, I'll get the trade, you know.
Yeah, if I find the other ones, I'll pick
From
them up.
Amazon used, right?
But
so that brings us to Silk 4. Are you enjoying Silk? I'm finding it light and readable, and
I like Silk. I don't love it. I'm not like caught up with the character or anything. She whines a lot, which is pretty common in a spider character, let's be honest.
Well, also, she has had about 48 hours to reconcile being alone for 10 years.
Well, they play hard and fast with the timeline. Like, they seem to imply that she's been at
The new
Daily
Bugle.
Bugle for a while, and then, it's all over the place. I thought the Silk Fantastic Four dynamic was kind of awesome.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
I liked the sweetness of the Human Torch Silk relationship.
And Johnny seems to actually genuinely want to date instead of actually, his
He thinks she's
being
hot,
his
like-
horn dog self. He puts off a good veneer of respectable dating.
Well, he's Johnny Storm. He's good at that. However, like the slapping Peter for telling her tale to the smartest, most helpful man in the world.
That seems out of it.
It's in character, but that's why I haven't totally connected with the character. Like this sudden, she's written like an older character, but she reads like a 15-year-old girl because she's lost 10 years.
Right.
I wrote a paper in college, and this irks me to this day, in which I compared Hamlet to Romeo.
Oh?
And my teacher's like, well, Hamlet's like 30 and Romeo's 15, so you're a dumbass. And I didn't write it well enough, but the point I was trying to make is like Hamlet has been in college and studying and away from reality for 10 years, as is written in the play, so he's not a functioning adult. He's basically a teenager with 10 years past.
Yeah. Okay. I can see that.
Fuck you, random college professor. My point has validity. Anyway, my own self-aggrandizing aside, Silk is in that same ilk. Yeah, I know. I'm pretty happy with the way that turned out. The Silk ilk.
Weird.
Grape Ape and the Hair Bear, but shit's just getting weirder by the second. Anyway,
I
I
don't know what you just said.
Grape Ape and the Hair Bear Bunch.
I don't know about the Hair Bear Bunch.
It's another cartoon.
Yeah, I know Grape Ape, but I don't know
Different,
Hair Bear Bunch.
equally weird. Research for you.
No, not doing that shit.
Silk is in a state of arrested teenage years. Like, she's had 10 years of living alone,
Sure.
eating fucking Go-Gurt and whatever dumb shit was trapped in there with her.
And as a teenager, she refuses, what the older, smarter person has to say about her problems with her powers. That being that their wonkiness is anxiety-based. It seems to work. I mean, Pete's powers go in and out when he's feeling too depressed or whacked out or whatever.
No,
It's infrequent at best.
No, Pete's powers have always been like he's always depressed. Like his powers are fine. Fine. She has a different kind of anxiety. She's been locked up alone for 10 years. Of course she has anxiety. That's really good, smart writing.
Yeah.
The fact that her powers are affected by it, like no one's, to my knowledge, no one's ever gone there that way before.
Not for similar reasons, anyway.
Well, I mean, your powers are like the closest I can think of is Power Girl being moody because of diet soda.
I know what the problem is. I was thinking because of the movie. Because in 2 that happened. Remember?
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah. I crossed over universes and I didn't even intend to. I apologize for that.
Wow, dude,
because that's ridiculously
dude, that's
dumb.
our first Mean Geek TMG crossover event.
At any rate.
Tool bag.
Whatever. Triple J sends her out. J. Jonah Jameson sends her home from work, says, just, you know what? In a rare moment of humanity.
No, see, I disagree. Like, this is why Triple J, awesome, by the way, is awesome. Because he is always a human being last. Never first. He's a giant douche first. But Triple J always does the right thing at the end.
Yeah.
Every single time. He's an awesome character and he doesn't get enough credit.
That's true. That's absolutely true. In a nice turn, her flashbacks to her parents are those of concerned and compassionate parents rather than freaking the fuck out like we've seen so many times.
Oh, yeah,
with,
no, dude.
With like every fucking mutant parent ever.
Like, if I walked into my kid's bedroom and there's giant fucking glue strands of fucking body fluids everywhere, like, shit, kid, move out. I'm burning this house in 8 minutes. If you don't have your stuff, leave the bear. It's covered in fucking goo strands. There's your title.
No. I will put that as a quote. I will not put it as a title. Leave the bears covered in goo strands. Eventually, she and Johnny go out and do a little light crime fighting.
Well, that is hero dating 101.
Huh?
That is hero dating.
It
101.
is. It totally is. But eventually, the Black Cat sends her flunkies out for Cindy, which is not going to be good, I think. Am I right?
Well, you know what?
I'm right. You can say I'm right for once.
No, it's not going to be good. It'll be terrible. I was thinking about the Black Cat, and if you recall, and I guarantee you don't because it was a small conversation, a few podcasts back, I was hypothesizing on how ridiculous it was for the Black Cat to get as far as she has in a short amount of time. And
right.
You agreed with me.
That's the one we just published last week.
Was it really?
Yep.
I don't listen. Here's my fact. We were wrong.
Oh?
Because I was thinking about this, and it's not irrational. It's lucky. But I also realized, and I don't even know if Dan Slott has realized this yet, although I suspect he has. Right. You have a perfect out for the way this all falls apart for the Black Cat.
Yeah.
When the Black Cat was using all her luck to work with Peter Parker, back in old school, Peter David written.
Uh-huh. Spectacular.
Why did they eventually fall apart?
He wanted Felicia and Pete, and she wanted Black Cat and Spidey.
No, that's why the relationship fell apart. Why did the heroics fall apart?
Didn't she have a turn to bad luck powers?
Right, you couldn't spend enough time around her without shit eventually falling to fucking shit.
Yeah.
So, when shit falls to shit for 80,000 B-level to C-level supervillains simultaneously, you see where I'm going.
I do, in fact.
And it works. And it would be awesome.
I could be done with that.
I thought you might.
So, let's get down with Uncanny 34. Now, Scott catches up with Mystique and Deli, and he wants the heart-to-heart. He's really concerned with Raven, and he just wants to make everything right.
Dude, I had a really hard time with
this. Did he really? I don't know. Dazzler goes new wave with the costume and goes to see Maria Hill.
Oh, come on. No one on Earth needs a new costume more than Dazzler. Like, you can't tell me you had a problem with that.
She can go back. As long as they take off that headband thing, she can go back to the standard blue one with the starburst.
I like the fact... No, dude, the 90s have come and gone. I
nothing.
like the fact that...
I like simpler costumes.
I like the fact that her face paint reflected her original face paint from the first incarnation.
Yeah, she went totally disco. Totally disco Dazzler.
Well, who doesn't love a good disco?
Oh, well, if you're going to ask that question. And...
Disco!
Disco. Ugh, my God.
Commodore Wife had no idea that Disco Dusk was the thing?
I'm not surprised. She was born long after Disco died.
Man, but Rick
Completely.
Dees.
Rick Dees. I gave up Rick Dees in like
Commodore Wife!
87.
My,
So I guess we'll just stop this shit right here.
hey, somebody passed their final today and is officially a graduate.
Woohoo! Dude. So now that everyone is celebrated, we've been talking about Dazzler.
Basically,
What?
Cyclops is a optical illusion in this, so they can capture Mystique for being a jerkwad.
Which explains the immense mischaracterization we've been wondering about.
Well, Cyclops and Mystique sitting down, comfortably talking is uncomfortable. Did not care for it. But what I found interesting, Mystique being captured, fine. Like, prisoner Mystique, not a new experience. Dazzler or Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., I had my issues with before, but she did fairly decently when they weren't stealing her mutant fluids.
Right. Ugh. We stopped talking about that particular thread.
What I thought was a giant miss was at the end of this issue, and I don't know where they're going with it. I don't even have a hint.
Yeah.
But when Hijack starts suggesting the idea of them forming their own team,
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of cool. But what I thought was a giant miss was Dazzler taking them to S.H.I.E.L.D.
All right. You think S.H.I.E.L.D. really wanted them anymore?
No, but I think, like, how good that team could have been. Like, the Cuckoos and Hijack and Goldball and the rest working for Dazzler as a team leader under Maria Hill and S.H.I.E.L.D.
I do feel that has some potential.
Like a Secret Warriors all-mutant team? Tell me that doesn't kind of work.
It has a ring to it. I will say
Particularly
that.
the way they took Mystique down as a group.
Yeah.
Like, watching them, watching Dazzler as a team leader with all of them totally worked. And so a mutant S.H.I.E.L.D. book plays into the fucking 4,000 mutant books they feel the need to have at all times. But with Dazzler as a team leader and all these guys that are currently doing nothing, like, what the hell? Like, I don't know where they're going to go in X-Men 600 or whatever.
Well, we'll see.
But I feel like that could have been an awesome idea.
Well, as usual, I've read the next issue.
Do you like where they went with it?
It was a pretty damn good story.
Do you like my idea better?
Yes.
Well, shit.
The thing was not without its merits, but whatever. At this point, we feel that a new mutant group is born at the end of this thing, so we'll see where they
Something's going to happen. They also hinted at a relationship there with Hijack and...
Ooh.
Was it one of the Cuckoos? Or was it?
It was, yeah.
Okay. It's got, like, again... You're a phenomenal artist, Bacalo, but all your blonde chicks look alike. And
Yep.
It is very difficult.
And even with them all having different color hair now, it's just like...
There's 4 other blondes that look the same as the blonde one.
Yep.
Schnoogans, like, I got nothing.
Schnoogans, I got nothing. Maybe that's our title. Schnoogans, I got nothing. I got Captain Marvel 15, though. Aha.
It's a sad note.
Yeah, well, Carol's finally back on Earth, and she's greeted by Rhodey, Jess, and Cap with the news that Carol has missed poor Tracy's death by a week, which is got to be just fucking devastating for the kid. Steve goes... What? Steve goes through the wall containing a cane... Goes through the wall?
No.
What the hell did I just write there?
Tracy leaves a will.
Yeah.
Leaving,
Will. He goes through the will.
Leaving.
It's my horrifyingly bad handwriting.
Yes. No.
Steve reads the will.
But they acted out as if Tracy's actually reading the will herself in ghost form.
Which was quite nice. I thought that was a nice trick.
Here's the thing with this issue is I have to give Kelly Sue an amazing amount of credit for this issue.
Do you, though?
Yes, I really do.
Because she's had a co-writer that's been uncredited.
Regardless, first off, at the end, Kelly Sue, for lack of a better term, dedicates this issue to her own aunt that passed away.
Yeah. Yeah, in the back matter, yes. I did read that for once.
I'm shocked. Literally shocked. Not even kidding. Like, shocked. But there's an emotional content in this issue that is very strong.
Yeah, it's super high. It's
on top.
It rings you right through.
Right. And so not only is it personal for her, but it's also personal for Carol. It ends the space arc on a down note, but a positive note. The way they turn it around at the end of the beach thing is so good.
That is. I was so super happy with those last 2 pages.
It kills, like, it re-brings home the personal connection piece that is so necessary in these books. It readjusts Carol immediately into all of her supporting cast.
Yep.
It removes the character, yes, but, like, I mean, you know, she was on her deathbed, like, how long are you writing that out?
Yeah.
I thought she killed it on this issue. I don't care that she has a co-writer. It really, like, yes.
Finish a damn sentence.
Yeah, well, it's, how do I say this? In terms of overall, is she a better writer with a co-writer than without? Who knows? Like, but as far as I'm concerned,
I'm nodding vigorously, just so you know.
But she's killed it on this book. If the co-writer's a big part of that, who fucking cares? Like, I'm sorry, would fucking Van Halen be better if Michael Anthony was back in it? Shit, yeah, it would. Sorry. This is phenomenal. It's a great book. It ends going into Carol Corps and then back to the revamp or whatever, post-Battle World.
Whatever.
But I totally want to go back to the revamp because of how strong this 15-issue series has been.
Well, it's not her on it. That's the problem.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Now, where is she going?
Who the fuck knows? More Bitch Planet, more Pretty Deadly.
So she's leaving Marvel as well.
I haven't seen any solicitations or news stories that say she's going to do anything for Marvel.
I can't even fathom that. Like,
she's done other work. She can stand alone if she wants.
Yeah, but, well, Pretty Deadly sold okay. Bitch Planet seems to have a niche market because bitch niche rhymes, so I mean.
And it hasn't had an issue for 6 fucking months. But, anyway, I want to make a mild geographical note to our listeners.
What?
There are locations mentioned in this issue that we know very well.
Oh, yes, true.
Middletown, which is mentioned explicitly, is the next town over from where we're sitting.
Fuck, man, do not give my secret location away.
It's not like I'm... Oh, you ass. Don't walk... Don't throw the mic down and walk away, you dick. Oh, whatever. At any rate, I have probably gotten drunk on the beaches that they had their funeral on, or damn close to them. So, the shoreline, I've spent a lot of time in Saybrook. I've spent a lot of time drinking in Saybrook. The Rev has done exactly the same fucking thing. So, theoretically, we are in the same universe as Carol fucking Danvers. So, booyah.
All right, what do we got?
At any rate, let's move forward to Where Monsters Dwell, #1.
So, Where Monsters Dwell, #1, is a rough sequel to a 6-issue Max series Garth Ennis did a few years ago, The Last Flight of the Phantom Eagle.
Is it really connected to that?
Well,
Oh, yeah. It is right on the cover.
yeah.
I forgot it was a Marvel book. I had totally forgotten that. Yeah, so the star is Carl Kaufman? Kaufman.
Yes.
So let's just
Phantom
say
Ace.
Kaufman.
Sorry, not or Phantom Eagle. I never get this right.
Well, it says right on it, Phantom Eagle.
Okay.
So.
I'm not looking at it. I'm trying. This
He's
is
a
all memory
pilot
for me, bitch.
skipping out on a pregnant island girl.
Who will be thrown to the island of dung if he doesn't marry her. He's a terrible human being.
He totally can't pay for his plane repairs, and he's being chased by a guy named No Balls Tong, which is just a frightening prospect
Which is apparently
altogether.
his fault somehow.
I don't want to know the backstory on that one. For an unexplained
Propeller
accident,
accident?
granting him that name. Clemmy, who appears to be a proper English woman, very ladylike and speaks very well, blah, 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 but moneyed, apparently, as well. She hires him to take her to Singapore. They just escaped this no-balls weirdo. And they
Second propeller accident, removing it now of his head.
They fly into a storm, get lost, because that's how you find Monster Island. That's how you find all mysterious islands.
Yeah,
you can't. There's something about the universal energy unleashed during a storm that reveals portals to heretofore unknown lands.
It's like Skull the Slayer.
It's like Skull the Slayer. It's like Steve fucking Trevor. It's like It's like fucking Lost. It's like a bajillion other fucking things. How do we get to the island that no one knows about after...
Well, Lost had propeller accidents too, so I mean...
Well, that's true too. So, whatever. But there's pterodactyls, and they crash, and God knows what the fuck is next.
And it ends with Kaufman leaning on a dinosaur.
Which amused me to hell.
It is a funny book. Visually, the art is solid. The Frank Cho cover kills whatever's on the inside.
I thought the inside was just fine.
I
really.
like the inside art, but
I think Russ Braun did okay.
Russ
It's no
Braun is
Frank Cho, but that's, what are you going to do? Not a,
you know what? The downside of great cover art in the day and age that we live in is that sometimes you're inevitably disappointed by what's on the inside.
Yeah, it sets up an expectation, and it frequently can't be matched.
I actually think Russ Braun and Frank Cho have some similarities in style and the way they draw.
They sure do.
But obviously, when you're doing one picture, you can be considerably cleaner than 24 pages or 22 or whatever it works out to. It's fun. It's old school, ridiculous Ennis. It's hard to see the point of this.
Yeah, I don't think there really is a true point.
Like, in terms of Battle World, like, are they just throwing random, like... Well, I just said like twice because I'm apparently a Valley Girl from 1987.
Valley Girls stopped in 86.
Why do you know that?
Because I was there in 86.
The
And
Valley?
I was part of the world, unlike you.
What are you talking about? I'm alive.
You had nothing to do with anything outside the closest book.
I know a lot about Sean Connery.
The closest book in VHS tape.
Actually, it's a quote from Trainspotting. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's hardly a substitute.
He knows a lot about Sean Connery. Anyway, no.
No, there's utterly no point to this book.
And the whole Battle World thing is just throwing me off. Unless they're going to bring Carl Kaufman in, which seems like a really bad idea.
There might be room for an adventure book, just because Indy
No.
failed so miserably.
But if you're going to do that, Ennis isn't going to stay on it. So
No.
no one takes over and is like, no. That's not a tone anybody else wants to dive into. Like, really? How many ass rape jokes do I have to make per issue? 7? I'm sorry, there's a Smurf book that I could work on. Like, that shit is challenging.
And might get paid more for
Yeah,
it.
exactly. Ass rape or Smurfs? The eternal question.
Even
There's your title.
I am not putting that as a title. Again, I'll throw it in the quotes, but I will not make it a title. Ass rape or Smurfs. There's your choice. The FCC would come down on us for that one. I don't know what the fuck. Ugh. But it's fun enough to read the next issue.
No, I definitely
but I
enjoyed
don't
it.
know where it could possibly actually end up.
It's like an Indiana Jones adventure crossed with a choose your own porn adventure. It's very strange.
Choose your own.
But it's awesome. I did enjoy it, but it's very weird.
That's funny. So, in Amazing Spider-Man 18, the Ghost, who we were happy to see because it's been a while,
Oh, yeah, awesome.
is about to kill Sajani when Pete intervenes, because that's what
Is he
it's
about
his
to kill
fucking book.
Sajani, or is he about to...
He was gonna. I got the distinct impression that he was going to kill her.
I feel like every villain that runs into Sajani makes like a bad deal. Sajani's a terrible person. Like I understand.
we went through this in the last Marvel episode about
I-
why she was a terrible person and why she wasn't really a terrible person and why she was just doing what she wanted. Anyway, Anna Maria and the others are hiding out and discover Living Brain. I love the robot, the Living Brain. I'm telling you, it's such a fun character.
Yeah,
Pseudo character, because he's not really a.
I don't
Can
care.
you call him a character?
I don't. Well, he's about to be, and I don't care how genius smart you are.
Yeah.
If a giant evil robot is like, "Hey, can I just upgrade myself with all the shit you put in me?" Oh, go ahead, Brian. You're a dumbass. Like stone cold dumb as fuck.
Because that's what he's trying to do with the nanites they develop. Because everybody.
He literally asked, and she's like, "Sure, go right ahead. Upgrade yourself. You weren't an evil giant robot earlier."
Now, while he's busy, updating himself to the latest NVIDIA drivers, Pete's fight is going really, really poorly against Ghost, and Ghost starts ripping apart the building and traps Pete. Crazy talk.
Yeah.
But we don't care about Pete trapped under rubble. I mean, how many hundreds of times has he been trapped under rubble, and he's just like, "I've got to make it." And he's just playing, he's out and free.
Corporate Ghost, corporate destroying Ghost, is a great character, and I thought they did really well with him. I like the fact that they had this. What's the supervillain? Who was he originally?
Who? When?
The ex-supervillain scientist.
Oh, Clayton, somebody?
I don't remember who he was, but I thought they had him and Anna Maria coming back very successfully. Anna Maria with the web shooter was
the
very
Sonic
cool.
guy.
Yeah.
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 He wasn't Soundbug, Bedbug, or Junebug. He was a
Humbug?
bug. What?
Humbug?
Humbug.
Is that? No, it was not Humbug.
Humbug. With an H.
Not him.
Are you sure?
Yes.
All right. He was a sound-based bug character. And really, Humbug is the only one you got.
Let's get it totally ridiculous. Like, this is old school rev, like just dropping pointless knowledge. Humbug, in the horrible Heroes for Hire series back in the day, during the Planet Hulk invasion, turned into part bug and was killed by Shang for wounding his girlfriend Tarantula.
What about the guy who was in Web of Spider-Man in the mid-'80s?
That's Humbug.
That's the same Humbug?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
The tiny dorky looking dude?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Oh,
how he
shit.
That's how he went out.
At any rate, Clayton, this guy, Anna, and the Living Brain ride in and defeat Ghost. And per usual, because she's brilliant, Anna has a cover story for the cops.
Dude, the only thing Anna Maria is really good at is apparently baking and cover stories. Like, I know she's a genius, but she seems to specialize.
And I actually read the backup this time. And Felicia has abducted Jay and May, who bought some of her stolen shit at auction, and she wants that shit back.
They ended up with one piece. Like, Felicia is just a nut job.
She's gotten a bit vindictive lately.
Well, she's an evil villain now.
Yeah, wonk wonk.
It's a fun issue. I like the fact that Peter has this backup character. I'm still trying to see where they're supposed to be going with Spider-Man and whatnot, with Peter, the jet-setting Iron Man Jr.
I don't know. Are they going to do that?
That was the hint. I mean, they even hinted that Spider-Man was going to be his bodyguard and it would be Miles Morales. I mean, these are all rumors, but
whatever. I don't know that they'll ever pull that off for more.
You know what? Dan Slott writing Spider-Man just works. Read the book, enjoy it. Ramos is killing it on art. Fucking everyone who
always does, except he's taken over that other thing now. So.
Oh, the X-Men book.
Yeah.
Or X-Men Avengers book.
Or no, it was Extraordinary.
I don't know. There's 40,000 things coming out.
And they're all irritatingly named similar to other books we've done. Anyhow, we need to move forward because it's an hour now. So Spider-Woman 7 has Jess disguised as the Porcupine and being held by Mystery Woman number 2. Jess, however, is no longer in the suit. She has crawled out while Mystery Woman has been arguing on the phone with somebody and has gotten into the trunk of the car that they drove in on so that she can be taken to this mystery town where Mystery Woman has contributed or has set up, not sure yet,
something. Again, this still doesn't feel like Jessica Drew Spider-Woman, but I dig this book. Like, it's becoming like this random... It's like a crazy... what was the Robert Parker show? Spencer, P.I. Doesn't it have...
Spencer for Hire.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it has that,
go.
like, 80s private eye feel.
Sure, yeah.
With a superhero tinge. That's kind of cool. Like what Alias was going for without all the fucking and drinking. I don't mean actual sex. I just mean like saying the word fuck 4 bajillion times in each issue. It is a really solid, interesting story, but it still, to me, doesn't feel like Jessica Drew. Like, I feel like the writer has an idea of what the book they want it to be. Is it Hopeless?
Yes.
Has an idea, an awesome idea of the book he wants to write. I just don't know that it suits the character he chose to write about. And that's my disconnect with it. But if you get away from that, the book is pretty damn awesome.
It's
so
a
far.
lot of fun.
But that one hang-up really catches me.
Well,
I know it's a lesser thing
maybe
for
you can sit the fuck back and relax for once about this
I'm not
shit.
really good at that. Which is why I'm on this damn podcast. Like, if I was all casual, like, whatever, it's a cool take, you'd be like, dude, you're a terrible podcaster.
I've heard terrible podcasters. They don't come up to you're terrible.
Oh, that was almost a compliment.
Maybe. Anyway, Jess appropriates the identity of Diamond Head's wife. She just walks up and everybody assumes that she is, so she says, yeah, of course I am. What are you talking about? When Porcupine and Urich show up, however, they get made, and it turns out there's this whole elaborate double cross where Lady Earthmover, or whatever the fuck she is.
Is there an actual villain? Like, I don't even
God,
know who
I
that
hope
is.
not.
I hope so.
Anyway, she has this master plan of blackmailing the villains into providing nice lives for their families.
All these, so the idea that
which
all
is
the
kind of
villains are
brilliant
abused.
as low-level plans go, really.
Well, I mean, it is and it isn't, and which is why Jessica Drew can get involved. Because you've got, on one hand, the idea that, okay, we've been abused by these villains, now we're going to get our own back. And on the other hand, it's like, we're no better.
No, they really aren't. But it's a smart twist.
Oh, it's an awesome
on making
twist.
these assholes provide for their family instead of gambling and whoring it away whenever they steal something.
Right. Well, you know, not even. It's. I keep coming back from the story on this issue. Really brought it back to Astro City Steeljet.
Yeah, really.
With the whole, you know, like interviewing the wives about dead villains and missing villains, and just the way that the B-level characters have to exist and their family have to exist. So there were some very similar things. It's an awesome story. The art is cool. It's really catching up to me nicely. If I can just get past that Jessica Drew thing, which is not dissimilar to what you went through with Batgirl.
Yes.
And I calmed you down a couple months ago.
Right on. You're right on with that.
But there hasn't been a revamp to justify it the same way.
And you keep forcing me to say sentences like that.
The number of times that this podcast, yes, because we're into cats now, people. Podcast.
We're from Boston. That's
Yeah.
what it is, dear.
Fuck the cod, Harvard Yard. Anywho.
That one's for you, Walsh.
Anyway, the number of times that this podcast has caused you to say you're right, Bill, is probably just caused you agita.
A little bit.
Yeah, you're like, I have to get a pacemaker because of this fucking podcast. No, I really do like the book, and I think it's miles ahead of Silk at this point. And I've still never read a Spider Gwen.
We don't really have to discover Jessica Drew, do we?
Well,
we do have to discover Silk.
In the sense of this book, I think we do, because there's no similarity to any previous Jessica Drew. That's my point.
Very little, but we already... She's had enough connections in this book to other parts of the Marvel Universe.
Right.
Whereas
She's
Silk
not
is just
Slate,
like, I'm here!
but in terms of character, there's almost...
No, it's a total turnaround.
Exactly. And which is, my disconnect, but I think they're doing... Like, if they had brought a brand new character in and were doing this storyline, you'd be like, damn, this is good.
Yeah. I think it's damn good anyway, but I see your point.
No, I'm not even making that argument. I'm just saying, like, you don't need this to be Jessica Drew for this to be good.
Yeah.
That's the point I'm making right now.
Yeah.
So I think, if you're going to a B-level Spider book, and anything that doesn't have the word man in it, then Spider-Woman is the one to go with. I can't speak on Spider-Gwen knowing, other than some cover hoo-ha, I know dick all about it.
So, that gives us Miss Marvel 15.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Love this, adore this book. The new Inhumans have decided that they're going to just take a New Atlanta's theirs now. Fuck you. Medusa, queen? Ain't no queen. We're an independent state up in this.
Can I see this for a second? The book actually?
The
while
book
you're talking?
itself?
Yeah, if you don't mind.
absolutely. Come here.
Thank you.
So, they take over and they decide that Kamala needs to be there regardless of whether she likes the idea or not. And, they put some force behind that. She messages Bruno, who barges out of class to try to go help her. And he has to take a water taxi to get there, which is just the weirdest sentence on the planet.
Dude, just awesome.
Kamala gets porked. Oh, my God. Kaboom.
Kamala gets porked?
No. What?
That's what you said.
No. I backed off. Poor Kamala is what I was trying to say. She gets electrocuted by kaboom. Please.
She starts to escape. Wow.
I would rather have boom boom than kaboom. Come on.
Kaboom is bad. Although it was
Kaboom's
a
a
great
bad
game
name.
on the Atari.
Sure it was. And she ends up reverting to normal somehow.
The electricity freezes her... I didn't fully follow. But she proves to be really resilient and very clever, which was awesome.
Right, because she instantly thinks, if I lead this jackass into the danger room, which is
Not
what
even
this
before-
thing is.
Even before that, though, she's able to dodge guards and use her speed and their mass against them.
Right. So she's a smart kid.
Kamala is amazing.
Kamran, the jackass double-crossing
Douche
nozzle, inhuman, I'm more important than everyone else guy.
Crystal Bob.
He confronts her and she kicks the living shit out of him.
Dude, I loved First off, I love Marvel. Secondly, I love everything about this issue. However, I want to make a more personal point right now.
Oh, yeah?
So I asked for this book because I want to show you this. Like, first off, the art. As much as I love the writing,
Oh, it's so right on, man.
that panel right there of her with the giant fist getting ready to kick ass.
That's amazing work right there.
Now, I said I wanted to make this personal for a moment.
Yeah?
To my knowledge, you've never bought a sketch from anybody.
No.
You bought me the Ron Lim Deadpool poster or sketch
Yeah.
at a show a few years ago as a present.
At San Diego.
Yep. First time you went out.
Yep.
However, tell me.
Motherfucker cost me $60.
However, thank you. Tell me that you would not get a sketch of Miss Marvel
From Brazanga?
Miyazawa.
Oh, shit, yeah. I totally would.
Like, and not challenging you or anything, but at this point, like, the art and the writing are so on point in this goddamn book.
They match up so incredibly well.
Ms. Marvel is so much better than so many other things. It's like, I don't even have words. It's like, oh, you like comics? I like Ms. Marvel, so fuck you. Like, damn! Damn!
But I'm sure you appreciated the whole God.
Dude, no. It's hysterical. It's awesome. It is if you're a young lady interested in comics, Miss Marvel is the best possible thing
This
out
is
there.
where you should go.
If you're a young boy interested in comics, Miss Marvel is
where
the
you
best
should go.
thing. Like, I cannot highly enough recommend this book. Like, it is beyond awesome. Like, I'm not even exaggerating. It's that fucking good. I'm a TMG. Can I still say I'm a mean geek? Like,
You can say it if you wish.
all right, fuck you. I'm a mean geek. This book, I'm a 6-year-old fucking like comic fan. Like, yeah, Ms. Marvel, punch him with your giant fist. Like, this shit is so good.
Give me my damn book back. You ain't getting this one.
No.
Now, Lineage, the guy who's been orchestrating all this horse shit, reveals that she's not the only Inhuman in her family.
Curiouser.
Bum. Bruno eventually shows up after she's kicked all kinds of ass, and they get away.
Dude, that was the sweetest scene.
That was so nice, wasn't it?
Like when she,
Oh my God.
like I've done all this stuff, but I've never fought a broken heart before. But at least I don't have to do it alone.
Awes. All the awes.
Adorable.
It was. You want to get grim for a minute? I guess we got to get grim.
Why? What do you got?
Because it's the next book. There's not really much of a choice.
What's the next book?
The next book is Old Man Logan #1.
That doesn't even feel grim. Like, this may be the worst Bendis book I've ever read.
After the events of the original arc, Logan is back in action and cleaning things up in Vegas. He breaks up a ring of criminals in costumes like Dee and Stark, who have no fucking idea who they're dressed as, which was
The
grating
Gladiator
on
was there,
Logan.
though.
The which one?
Gladiator.
If you say so.
Yeah, because remember, that's the kid that confronts him. He's like, you killed my dad, the
Oh,
Gladiator.
yeah. Yeah, he takes a pot shot at Logan, and Logan just rides off with an appeal to the town to build a life or faith his wrath.
Dude, all I could think
Did you
of...
think William Money at that moment?
No, all I could think of, honestly, was Wanted, the miniseries.
Yeah.
When Mr. Rictus kills the kid's parents, he's like, maybe in 15 years he'll grow up to be a vigilante and give me a real fight.
I didn't remember that.
Well, of course not. It's a totally obscure fucking point, which is why I thought of it, because
Yeah.
I'm a freak.
I thought, you better bury Ned right, or I'll come back and kill every last one of you sons of bitches.
Dude, all I want to do now is watch Unforgiven. Fuck.
Oops. Not that 3-hour masterpiece. Not this late at night.
Unforgiven trumps awesome.
At any rate, he stumbles across an Ultron head out in the desert and he takes it home. And at home is one of Luke Cage's descendants. Really?
Is that his
Okay.
wife from the last one? I never finished Old Man Logan.
I gotta reread it because I'm not certain
Didn't
myself.
you just get them all signed, or most of them?
I did, which is why I'm gonna have to go get the trade. No, that was every last one of them.
Yeah, I need to pick up the trade for that. I got 2 of them signed because I had 4.
Because I do not read signed books again.
So it's like,
I
oh, I
refuse
got
to
this
take a
signed, now
chance
let me
on
replace it.
damaging that stuff any further. Logan goes to see Emma Frost, who was in an attack by Punishers, plural. Uh-oh. And She dies, however, because she can't handle what her life has become, and
she doesn't know how to turn crystal anymore. She's older.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is 50 some odd years in quote our future. So Logan goes to the wall to find out what he can about the Ultron head, because Ultron heads don't belong in his region.
Yes, but he's met an Ultron before, but that was an 8 and this is a 5. And here's the thing, like, this did not feel...
Yes.
This felt... It felt forced, honestly, for me. Like, it wasn't awful. Like, Bendis is a great writer, but to me this was unnecessary and weird.
Well, I mean, all of these fucking Battle World bullshit things are unnecessary.
Well, the implications, some of them are going to show up in the normal universe.
Yeah.
And the fact that Logan is dead suggests that old man Logan
will be taking his place.
But you have to say, as much as you don't like Mark Millar anymore.
Well, no, I dislike his independent shit.
But which is kind of what I just said.
No, because Old Man Logan was a phenomenal story.
That's my point. And he took this random, weird story and just killed with it. And I feel like Bendis, who overall I prefer to Millar, doesn't do as well with it.
You're going to run that risk whenever you come into somebody else's property.
I think there's legs in the character. I just... once again, every time we read a Battle World, you're basically just diving into nothing. It's the same thing as literally those horrible two-part convergence things.
It's literally Elseworlds.
Yes. It's an Elseworlds that you don't care about.
Yeah.
Which is
because the story has had its time.
Right.
And it's gone, and we enjoyed it, and now we'd like something else, please.
Even if it was a story. Some of them aren't. Like, some of them have basis in previous comics. Others are just random concepts.
Oh, like the Carol Corps.
Or Master of Kung Fu, which had nothing to do with Shang-Chi.
Well, I mean, he was in it, but...
Yes, but my point being, it had nothing to do with Shang-Chi. Trust me on this.
I am not arguing. I'm not arguing.
But, yeah, so... I thought this was interesting. Did you get more of this? Did we continue any Battle World?
I'd have to look at it to be sure. I think I said, all right, let's try a bunch of them and see what.
So you just did a bunch of ones and then called it?
Mostly.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Because it's so ridiculous that I had to pick and choose. I was like, well, I mean, I can't pull a DC with the Marvel and get 4 fucking titles.
Well, they're also, unlike, at least with Convergence, you could get 2 and be done. You had to buy 4 of these.
Yeah. Irritating.
And the only Convergence we really enjoyed is the one I got, which was the Shazam. And that was half art, really.
Yeah. Ugh. Anyhow, we're creeping up on an hour and a half here. So Squirrel Girl 5.
Dinosaurs!
Have you improved on your viewpoint of this yet?
This was a funny book. This was, like, the various people... Squirrel Girl almost feels like a dare. Like, it's just... like, let's do the most random shit we can think of.
This is your standard POV story. Every series at some point or another, TV show, comic, whatever you want to deal with, eventually they all don't have enough meat in their story, so they have to just tell it from different characters' perspectives to put enough time in to fill 22 minutes or 22 pages or 43 minutes. Or
no, a bunch of... Basically, Squirrel Girl has no real origin to speak of.
She really doesn't. No, they haven't cooked one up for her yet.
So they have a bunch of fake origins, which are all based on relatively insane Spider-Man origins.
Yeah, but they're funny as fuck.
This was by far the funniest issue. The last issue, I laughed at more.
Yeah.
But not because of the issue, because of fucking the Chipmunk Hunk song. Like, that shit was...
Chipmunk Hunk!
But Bass Lass... The Red Skull Bot, like, there were so many, like... I know you're contemplating killing this book, but at the same time, this shit has gotten ridiculously funny.
Don't phrase it like that. I am contemplating not picking up the next volume of it. I gotta look, because if it's the same creators across the board,
then okay. So you're only if they change creators, you're not going to try it twice.
I'm not nearly as interested.
Fair enough. I can see that. But this, to me, like the fact that they're trapped in a fucking Statue of Liberty, like everything about this book was just bizarrely funny. And if that's the kind of shit you're going to embrace, I'm a little more like. To me, Squirrel Girl is basically becoming Mad Magazine at this point. Well, here's an interesting fact that you probably don't know because I'm insane.
Yeah?
Old school Mad Magazine before
Yeah?
Sergio Aragonés and the Mad Marginals.
Stuff in the margins?
Exactly, the tiny little sketches that
Yeah.
Sergio used to do for every page. Before that, every page used to have a weird random quote.
Oh, I see.
Like, what if Deborah
it.
Carr had a sister named Kitty?
Kitty car?
Exactly. Shit like that. That's an actual one. Because, I read old Mad Magazine because I'm fucking apparently 70,000 years old.
No, you're just 7 years old. Is what it is.
I love Mad Men. I am not ashamed of it. But, so, this really has that kind of satirical, insane feel.
It does, actually.
And it is growing on me. And this whole Marvel comedic thing between this and Howard the Duck, like, all about pushing that.
I like comedy. I want the fun in my books. I've asked for it over and over and over
Yeah,
again. And they're giving it to me. And I'm happy about that.
Damn Skippy.
So, one more standard Marvel book.
What do we got?
Let's work with Thor 8.
In which I am proven correct and you are proven an idiot.
I was not proven an idiot. I was hoping it wouldn't be her. Because, give me a new character, goddammit. At any rate, we pick up the battle against the Destroyer with Thor, and a lot of heroines. Page after page after page of battle is a stalemate with a couple of little bits of witty banter here and there, and that's fine. I like witty banter. You like witty banter
I
too,
do.
don't
I like the fact that it took 5,000 people to keep the Destroyer to a standstill. Like, they didn't even come close to winning.
Nope. It's stalemate, and it's just like, okay.
In the end, it comes down to the fact that, hey, Odin, you're a dick. And he's like, shit, I'm kind of being a dick.
Freya eventually makes a spectacular attack and just shames Odin into quitting the fight. The great thing about Thor is we'll go punch people together.
No. I will say, though, I like female lead comics. I like them when they are well done. I like the fact that, like, Miss Marvel is one of my favorite comics right now. There are a lot of Captain Marvel is really stepping up nicely. This whole, like, all-female team thing they're doing a lot of.
I don't know if you can call it a lot. There's one actual book, and there's this one team up here.
Well, you got the A-Force thing. You got the all-women's X-Men team. You got this thing.
But that's
you got
not
the
exactly
She-Hulk Crusaders. Like,
well, that is A-Force.
But before that, it was that. Like,
well, don't double it up and
right.
try to.
I just feel like there was like, why would Thor's got a lot of dude friends? Like, why was it Iron Man blasting that for 4 seconds?
Don't say blasting that. No, never mind.
No, don't be filthy. But my point being,
You're filthy all the goddamn time.
I don't wash a lot. It's true.
Ew.
That's a damn lie, and you know it.
And yet you said it.
It's funnier. All I'm saying is I didn't see the point to the all-female Thor team in this.
Well, it hinges immensely on Thor's efforts last issue. And you
because of the list.
Yeah.
It's still...
Yeah.
Like, I'm pretty sure he knows the Warriors 3 number without his fucking list. I liked aspects
But he had a
of
plan to determine it.
Yeah, I do really enjoy Thor. I love the fact that he's about to confront. It's like, you're Rosalind, the S.H.I.E.L.D. agent that I'm kind of sparking at, and then she pulls up.
No,
he's
you're
like,
not.
he's like, just fuck this stupid list. I'm the worst detective ever. Rosalind, do you want to grab a drink with the worst detective ever who's got a fucking axe for a hand?
And I'm sure that Thor was thinking the same way I was thinking. Of course it's not Jane. She didn't want the magical help. She just wanted to live out what was left of her life. What came out of her mouth was the fact that she wanted to just end things with dignity.
Yep.
And to me, that doesn't say grab a magic hammer and go kick ass. I mean,
well, nothing really says that, sadly. However, the cool thing is,
I'm waiting.
If you're going to try and respect the mantle of Thor, if you're going to try and salvage the name of a man who's a hero to the world but is also somehow lost his integrity due to this stupid Nick Fury whisper thing.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
There are two women who would put Thor that high in the pedestal. One is Sif.
Yeah. And the other's Jane. So, I mean, I can see how it makes sense in one degree. I was just like...
I can see clearly now the Rev is right.
Anybody who didn't think it was Jane, that first announcement, was just not thinking. And that's why I deliberately took the other tack, because I didn't think that they would be that obvious.
No, I think it's cool that you picked the wrong choice and trying to defend that by being more creative. No, that's awesome.
You're a giant douche.
Who nailed it?
Whatever.
No, the argument, like, I won't take magical healing while I'm using the magical fucking hammer to kill me faster is insanely dumb. I don't disagree with that.
Wait, when did the killing faster part come
It's
out?
literally the last page of that book.
In this one?
Yep.
Really?
Yep. She's like, I'm Thor, and it's killing me.
Talk for a second, because I don't remember that part. You motherfucker.
You motherfucker. You fucking mother.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right, yeah.
Duly noted.
I wasn't trying to argue it. I just didn't remember it. Anyway, why don't we finish off the episode with 16 issues of various Star Wars shit.
Son of the bitch.
I tried. I offered time. You were busy. There was nothing that we could do, man. We're stuck. Let's start with Star Wars 4 and 5. How about that? Is 4 and 5 good enough for you?
Yes.
In 4, right, Vader shows up to conclude the official, air quotes, negotiations with Jabba, and he's pretty goddamn badass doing it.
Dude, like,
this is why I like Vader. This is the Vader I've been dying for like 10 years.
every time I'm reading this issue, all I could think was your whole, like, why is fucking Dark Horse Vader the dumbest human being in the Star Wars universe? In a matter of 5 issues, they've not only salvaged action in science fiction, they've salvaged Vader and Boba Fett.
Yep.
It's amazing. This fucking book is so good
that we just don't know how to describe it any further. Han and Chewie finally fixed the Falcon. Fixed the Falcon, again with the air fucking quotes.
Yeah, but I love the fact that Leia is basically fucking them over. Like, oh, I want your help, so I'm not giving you the parts. Like, that's Leia the princess. Princess Leia. Princess Leia doesn't hold a candle. Candle is not a word. Bitches. Hi, kids. This is Dr. T. O'Mara with today's Comic Science Moment. Cantle is a 22nd century term that means The Rev is an idiot. This has been Dr. T.O. Morrow with today's Comic Science Moment.
There you go, Chris Gata. We knew you were waiting for it.
By the way, I'd like
He
to
loves
point,
those things.
I'd like to
Did I
point
tell
out
you
to
that?
Dr. T.O. Morrow that these Comic Science Moments are less and less about science and more about random shit.
Well, I'll find some science points.
Yeah.
So you can deal with that.
Anyway,
Leia.
Leia in Princess Leia is not half as cool
No.
as
not
Leia
really.
in Star Wars.
No, that's true. Different writers. What are you going to do? Leia and Mon Mothma. I hate that name. It's so hard to say when you've had 3 whiskeys.
Mon Mothma?
Mon Mothma.
I can't say candle, but I can totally say Mon Mothma.
See, it works different ways for different people. They're arguing offense
Thuffrin,
versus hiding. Luke trains for a bit, and he sits there recriminating because he's the whiny farm boy Luke. I mean, you got to give him that. He hasn't developed yet to Jedi level. He
Which
hasn't
is
met
awesome.
Yoda. So he's trying his best, but he's got nothing to work with.
Tell me you don't like this better.
This is good. He doesn't have anything to work with, so he's trying to figure it out. He's a 22-year-old with a set of skills he doesn't understand. So he's like, fuck it, I'm mad now.
He's frustrated. He knows he's undereducated for the role he's trying to step into.
Yep.
This is exactly where Star Wars should be.
Right. Because he was awfully competent in the other Marvel Star Wars. He was rapidly competent
Well, the first
for
couple-
absolutely no reason.
The first few, it was hard because they didn't have 6 movies and years to build off of.
Right.
It was challenging.
He was the hero, and if you didn't have the hero being a hero, you didn't have much of a hero.
Exactly. At least now they have the advantage of don't mac on your sister. Poor Roy Thomas is
Which
sitting there
for 36 issues they flirted with terribly, and frighteningly, and then finally Empire came out, and I'm like, oh God.
Do you imagine? Just imagine how pissed Roy Thomas was. It's like, ooh, I'll have Han flirt with her today. Luke, you flirt with her next issue. Oh, you fucking bitch, Lucas. And there's your title.
You bitch, Lucas. This is like your 4th break, dude. Come on.
I'm old. No, it was one of the high points.
We're back. So, while all this is happening, there's a bunch of Rhodians confronting someone looking for Solo. Vader and Jabba discuss the bounty hunters dispatched for Luke, and Vader demands Jabba's knowledge of Kenobi. Boba shows up, strong arms the Rhodians.
Dude. A lot of cool things, but, recapturing Boba Fett is probably the most challenging thing in this book.
Yeah, because you got a lot of people justly noting that he hasn't done a whole fuck of a lot on the screen.
Yeah, the classic definition of reputation over actual fucking action is Boba Fett.
Pretty much, he's got this amazing look that nobody else has until his father showed up,
which helped kill it.
Yeah. Well, a little bit. I mean, you get a little traditional in the back of your mind. You're like, okay, there's a passing of the torch, but it's a pretty, there's
when he's 6.
There's like a C cell in the torch.
You've taught me so much, Father, in the 4 minutes I've been alive before you got decapitated.
He was 10. Come on. Whatever. Anyway, that's 4. Over in 5, Luke finally makes it back to Tatooine, which was his goal in 4. It's like, look, I got to figure this out. The only place I can probably do that is Ben's hut.
By the way, how much did you enjoy the fucking joke that nothing cool has ever happened on Tatooine? And Vader's like, fuck you.
This place has got way too many goddamn memories for me, and I'm not even going to justify your horse shit with a response.
Oh, dude, the best thing about the Star Wars comics in toto is Vader.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, he doesn't know Fett is shaking down half of the fucking planet for Luke's name, however. He uses a display of force to flush out someone that knew Luke and gets his name. Han and Leia negotiate parts for the Falcon in exchange for helping the Alliance from last issue. They finally get to the point of, all right, look, you're going to help. I'll give you what you need, but you're going to help me. A little quid pro quo, a little how's your father? What that help is, however, is they have to go scouting for new Alliance base worlds. And that's going to take a while.
Oh, yeah.
So they're still stuck one way or another. So it's very clearly a plot of Leia to keep old boy around.
Well, at this point, though, it's more about keeping a amenable, talented pilot,
right?
Than it is about, I kind of want to bang this dude.
Maybe.
There's also a little, not ruling that out, but which is exactly what the movie was. It's like, you're useful, I'm political, I'm going to hold on to you.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Which is awesome, because I want them to build slowly. I want this to go, I don't want 5 issues from now to be an Empire.
No, God, no. That's not soon. That's way too soon.
And that's my point. Is I want them to play with the relationships early.
Well, at very least, they got to get to Ord Mantell. So that's probably a 6-issue arc alone.
Yeah.
And then there's going to be aftermath for that, which is
the only reason I want them to rush towards Empire is so they can bring Lando into the awasomeness. So I know he has a miniseries, but once he gets in Star Wars, shit's just going to get fucked up.
Now, the thing is, are they going to republish or rewrite that and put it in an arc? Or are they just going to say, one issue, they're just going to say, wow, that adventure on Hoth was pretty tense, huh?
It's an interesting question. I don't know how they'll address it, because right now it's very early.
Yeah.
Unless they go with yet another Star Wars post-Empire book, simultaneous, which would be both awesome and horrible in equal measure.
Yeah.
You can see the appeal.
Because eventually there's no choice
hit
but
90s
to
Spider-Man.
cross them over. Yeah. Because that's I don't need that. At any rate, we end with Boba Fett meeting up with Luke because he's tracking him down. Because that's
Boba
what he does.
Fett versus Luke was amazing.
But then he pulls out a flashbang, and Luke is blind. Now, theoretically, Luke is going to be fine because he learned how to fight blind.
Oh, no, he tried learning how.
Well, he got the first inklings of how to do it.
This was, this issue nailed so many little things in this, because not only do you have Luke using the Force really differently for the first time successfully.
Right?
He's able to touch into these things and fight off a badass bounty hunter, but you also have Boba Fett reclaiming the title of badass bounty hunter.
Yeah. He's running around town, he's doing his interrogating, he's finding out what's going on, and he tracks down his man.
Yeah. No, legit shit.
Now that brings us to the other side of the Star Wars coin. Darth Vader 4 and 5.
Fuck, man. I cannot believe the fact that I like the Darth Vader solo book more than the Star Wars book.
And I have mild philosophical problems with the fact that Darth Vader has his own book, because I have been yapping loudly and at great length that villains shouldn't be starring in anything because they're goddamn villains.
See, I totally disagree, man. Joker book, freaking Marvel villain team up,
which did
Suicide Squad, the League of Supervillains. I have all this shit.
I know you do. Harley Quinn, all these other books. How do I even phrase it without sounding like a complete right-wing jackass? We shouldn't be idolizing the bad guys.
We should when they're this awesome.
When they're written this
No.
awesome lead. All right, fine. Whatever the fuck.
Everything about Vader is cool. From the fucking torture versions of C-3PO and R2-D2 to the insane...
But we shouldn't be happy to read about torture.
Have you never read a Garth Ennis book before?
I have never been happy with some of those fucking sequences, dude. They make me very uncomfortable at points.
Alright, anyway.
Whatever. Vader and Aphra have finally arrived at Geonosis and send the droids down to find the active factory. What they find, however, is the Geonosian Queen. And of course they beat her and take her stuff.
Dude, if you, the part where Vader just jumps into midair, like... Laraka is so fucking good.
I'm telling you, he is my absolute most favorite Star Wars artist right now. And I have great difficulty saying that because I have a stack of Simonsons waiting to be signed by him.
Yeah, dude, Chaikin freaking... No, like, so insane. Like,
Lorca knows what the fuck he's doing with Star Wars.
Like, loved these issues. The fucking evil C-3PO and R2-D2. The fact that his sidekick is not only willing to die for his cause, but tells him to kill her cleanly rather than trust her.
Yeah, because she knows that a Sith Lord is not exactly going to let her run around with his secrets.
But at the same time, she's like, your plan is so big, you need to kill me. So just do it cleanly. I would appreciate it.
Yeah,
like,
she's got a certain level of awareness of her situation that's to be admirable.
You need to dive into these books right now. Like, if you can't find a way to appreciate this shit, like, go fucking read Little Lulu and piss off.
Now, eventually, the Wookiee bounty hunter captures some guy whom Vader turns over to the assassin droid for torture. He reveals, under duress, I would think, right? You think?
Oh, yeah.
That he has the location of the Force sensitives who might replace Vader one day.
Which pisses him off slightly.
Drives him up the fucking wall. And that's what we have happen in 5.
The confrontation.
The confrontation. Vader and Aphra have found the base of Silo 5.
You got weird...
Where several low-level Force users are being trained
or
by the Emperor.
Force users.
Some of them aren't.
The implication is not that they use the Force, but they have different powers. You got the creepy Fenris twins. You got Bosk Jr. You got Akbar Sr. or whatever, and then you got the chick with the friggin' metal balls out of, what is that horror movie?
Phantasm.
Wow. 2 points for that.
Where was I? Yeah. The Emperor has been called in to witness his trainees fight Vader, thereby choosing the new apprentice.
Dude, the Vader confrontation, like Emperor, everything was so cool. But the best thing about both these books, in all honesty, is the crossover scene in which Vader finds out that it's Skywalker in both books and starts to break the glass with the Force out of his pure fucking righteous anger.
Right there on the bridge, man.
Amazing.
That was so... I didn't actually catch that the first time. I noticed that when I was summarizing this shit days later. I'm like, oh my god, look what he's fucking doing. Holy shit.
No, so fucking good.
And that's the note we like to leave you on.
No, read fucking Star Wars.
Read Star Wars. Read Darth Vader.
All right.
Read Squirrel Girl. Read Miss Marvel.
And we'll give Howard the Duck a nod.
Sure, all right. Read Howard the Duck. Boom.
Bless you, fuckers.
And away.
Really? You got to go with the long this time?
I thought a change-up might be neat.
Bitch.
Bye.
The Mean Geek is recorded live at the Reverend Mad Duck's apartment whenever the hell we can get to it. Find us on Facebook, Stitcher, Twitter under @TheMeanerGeek. Subscribe to us through RSS.
Or we can be located at our own site, www.themeangeek.com. And most importantly of all, you can find us as a proud member of the Comics Podcast Network.
Email us directly at TheMeanerGeek@gmail.com.
TechJedi.com.
Can I drink now?
You may.